Hey guys, so today we're going to make our honeybee sculpture. It's one of my favorite projects, I think. I get excited about sculpture projects because it's a nice little change and it's fun that you get to kind of make your own little toy. But of course it's a sculpture, so we still need to be careful with it. Now, to make our honeybee sculpture, you're going to get a packet like this. Sorry for being so close up. I'm still waiting for my equipment for making the art videos to come in. So I'm just kind of making do with what I have. Okay, so let's empty this out. That's an extra one. So what you're going to have is you're going to have your yellow clay, black clay, white clay, and then you're going to have a little packet like this. This is going to be filled with some flowers, because we know the bees love flowers. We have the wings, and we have antennas, and we have a little bit of some hot pink to make a little smile. Now, we only have 2 of the black antennas here because we're going to make the stinger with the clay. So these are the materials we have to start. So I'm going to set aside the things we do not need right away. I'm sorry if my hands are looking very dry. We've all been washing our hands a lot these days. Okay, so let's dust that off. Now I have all of the clay packed in these bags. The only one that is kind of like super tricky to get out is when we get to this itty bitty one. The bags are just super tiny, so it can be kind of hard to get it out. So we'll need some help from Mom and Dad, pretty much kind of getting all those bags open. And so the clay is very sticky, which is good and bad. It helps keep all of our pieces together as we add the different eyes and mouth. But it can be a little challenging because sometimes it can be too sticky and you may not want something to stick right away, and it does, and it's hard to peel it off, but don't worry, we can always fix it. So you're just going to squeeze the clay and get it nice and soft and squishy. Once you have your clay soft, I'm going to take a little piece off like this because maybe you can have Mom or Dad make their own little bee, or you can work on making a little baby bee. It's up to you, but I always like to set a little bit aside, just in case. So I gave a little extra in the bag. So I get it nice and squishy, and then you're going to roll it into a ball. You can roll it like this, right? Or you can roll it like this on your plate or your table or whatever surface you're working on. Now remember, your ball does not need to be perfectly round, okay? And everybody's is going to be a little bit different. It's actually, what I always say is what makes art fun is that everybody's is going to look a little different, because if they all look exactly the same, that, it might be a little boring. Now once you have a ball, I kind of roll it just gently like this, just to give it a little more of a longer shape here, almost like an egg. And once you have that, then we're going to set that aside. I always tell my students, once you have your first step done, just give a thumbs up. Okay, that lets me know that you're ready for the next step. Now the next step is going to be getting the black clay. And the smaller the bags get, the harder it takes to get it out. If you have to, you can even get some scissors and just kind of cut the bag open or tear it open, whatever works best for you. So with the black clay, we're going to need it for a few different things. We're going to need it for the stripes on the bee, for the stinger, and for little dots here on the eye. So, which are the pupils, right? We all have those. So I like to take some pieces apart just so I don't run out of the clay. So I'm going to take some pieces for the stripes. So maybe about this big. You probably won't even need that much. And also remember, if you're making a second bee, little baby one, you'll want to maybe put just a little bit aside for that too. So I'm going to take a little bit, set it aside. So 2 stripes, get a little bit for stinger, and then just like 2 teeny pieces for the eyes. So that still leaves me with a lot left over, so that's good. I can save it for a future project, maybe add more black to the bee, whatever you like. So Now I'm going to make the stripe on the bee. See it? We got 2 of them. And the way to do that, let me set this aside. And I'm going to set my pieces aside because I need a little bit more space here. You're just going to make a nice long worm. Okay? So just kind of roll it like that. Now you don't want to do it too much in the middle, because if you just do it right in the middle, look what's going to happen. Now I'm afraid that if we use it like this, it just comes apart too easily. So I'm going to start over again, because sometimes, you know, we do it a certain way and we just want to change it, and that's okay. So I'm kind of moving my hand back and forth as I make my worm, or my stripe. That looks like a worm. And I'm going to make it long, because I have to wrap it around that entire piece of yellow clay. And if it doesn't make it all the way around, that's okay, because that the part that doesn't connect can be the bottom part of your bee that you won't see. And we also have extra clay. We can also add it. And so there are a couple ways you can do this. I'm going to do it this first time by just placing it, and then I'm going to roll it all the way around. And see, it didn't connect all the way, and that's okay. I'm going to kind of just squeeze it together just so it kind of does. Okay. So now I'm going to make my other one, and then I'll show you kind of how another way you can wrap it around your bee. So there's a few different ways to do it, and you might come up with your own way. I know a lot of you scribblers teach us teachers a lot. So, okay. So now I have it this way, and I am going to take it and I'm going to roll it across. Okay, and then now we have our 2 stripes. Okay, so we are ready to make the eyes. Now we're going to get our white clay. Okay, so we are going to make 2 balls for the eyes. And don't forget that you may want to keep a little extra for your baby bee if you make one, and the baby bee will have white wings. I haven't added the antennas yet on this one, but the baby bee will have clay wings, where the big one will have fuzzy ones. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and if mom and dad are around to help out for some of our younger students, they're more than welcome to help you roll these pieces into balls. Sometimes it's nice to have a little helper too. Sculptures can be pretty tricky. Okay, I like to roll my balls just using my 3 fingers here. These are the 3 fingers we used for writing. So if you're at a Montessori school, we're using these 3 fingers a lot for grasping. So this is great practice too. So now I'm going to decide which side I want my eyes on. So I'm going to choose this one, I think. Nope, I'm going to choose this one. Just kidding. Okay, so I'm going to place my eyes on. Remember, the clay is sticky, so once you find a spot, you'll want to keep it. If you're like, oh no, I didn't want it there, you can gently pull it off very carefully. Don't worry if that happens. If you had a little yellow stuck on there, you can just pull it apart, roll it back into that ball, and then find your spot. But I did happen to like that spot, so I'm going to keep it there. Okay. And now we're going to go back to the black. Remember those 2 little pieces? These might even be too big. When we want to add the pupils, we want the pieces to be teeny tiny, okay? So this teeny, teeny, tiny. Sometimes in class when we're doing this, it's easy to lose these little pieces. That's how tiny they are, okay? So once you have it, you can place them on. I've had some students like to squish the eyes just a little bit, but if you do, that's totally okay. Just be careful that you don't squish too much, okay? Okay, so now we have our eyes. Let's go ahead and make that stinger since we are working with the black clay here. So I'm going to get this, and the way to make this stinger is with the stripes we made what looked like a long worm. Now we're going to make a short worm, and I'm just going to use these 2 fingers, and I'm going to make one side kind of pointy. You see that? So I just kind of rolled it just on one side of my fingers. Man, I need a manicure. Then you're going to put your stinger on. Okay. So you can have your stinger about that size. You can have it smaller. You can have it a little bit bigger. That is up to you. Now I'm gonna get the mouth ready. Now remember, I warned you about this itty bitty bag. Well, tricky. So I just gotta really get, maybe the little fingers that you have there might be able to get them out a lot better than mine. So now I'm gonna take a piece of this clay. I'm just gonna roll it another little worm-like shape, right? Okay. And then you can make your be happy, sad, mad, whatever you like. Get creative. Maybe think about how you're feeling that day, and you can add that to your bee. Now we are going to get to the antennas. We have these pointy, fuzzy black pieces here, and I'm going to take it and I am going to push in. Now you want to make sure you push it in far enough because they can kind of slip out. Okay, I think that's good. Little fuzzy pieces there. And then my favorite part, which is the super fuzzy wings. And so now I'm going to put one on one side and the other on the other side, just like that. And then now you have your little bee. And if you still had some of that yellow clay set aside and you want to make your little baby bee, you can do all the same steps. The only two things that would be a little different would be the wings, okay? So to do the wings, you just roll that little ball just like you did with when you made the eyes. Gently squish. And then this is just what the wing is. You can see how I put one on each side. And then the little antennas. Now we're working small here, so these are going to be little pieces. It can be a bit challenging when it's small, but the clay is sticky, so it just kind of sticks right on. Let's see, this piece might be a little big, but that's okay. All right, and then we got baby bee. Now, I added in the pack some flowers because, as we know, bees love flowers. And in the lesson plan that I sent your mom and dad, you can go to a link that will tell you a little bit more about bees. Also some fun things about our artist of the week, Donna Billick, and what she has done to help the bees and help spread awareness. It's pretty cool stuff. You'll also have your card that has all of your information on it. If you want, you can add your sculptures to the card so that you can have it all together. I know some of our friends do not want to add it to their card sometimes because they want to play with it, or maybe they have a special idea of what they want to do with their sculptures, and that's okay too. Just remember, if you do decide to play with your bees, just be extra careful with them because sculptures are very fragile and they're very delicate and they can break easily. So I like to find a special spot at home to display my art, and I like to put my sculptures up high because sometimes little hands, maybe a little brother or sister can get a hold of it, or even maybe your dog. That's actually happened to me once before. He thought it was a toy for him. It was kind of funny, but sad at the same time because I worked hard on the sculpture. You also have some glue that's in your art box that came with your bag that you can glue all your pieces down to. So that's our bee project. Hope you had fun.